Let me know, Dylan.
The live stream is good to go, but also is Daniel Mears or Christopher Dews with anybody?
I'm sorry, what?
Daniel Mears and Christopher Dews.
I I know who Christopher Dews is. I'm not sure he wants to be on this. If they weren't invited, then they have to go to the YouTube.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Live stream is going.
Thank you, Dylan, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Prince George's County House Delegation by County Subcommittee. For those of you who may be joining us who are new, these hearings, I'm sorry, it's not a hearing, these proceedings, our subcommittee work group is simply that, our work group. The public hearing was held back in the fall. And so anyone who is joining us is probably at the request of what the bill sponsor or one of the members. And unless asked to speak or there are questions that need to be answered, this is simply just for the members of the Bi-County Subcommittee. So with that said, we have one legislation on the docket, which is Shane. It's a Delegate Holmes's bill that we had for discussion and last week, but it is our understanding that the delegate has introduced several more amendments. And so Shane, our counsel would explain the bill and then point of personal privilege to allow Delegate Holmes to explain those amendments.
Yes. This is, as mentioned, PGMC 10524. It's titled Prince George's County Qualifying Municipal Corporation Land Use, and it authorizes, subject to certain limitations and requirements, a governing body of a certain qualifying municipal corporation to adopt a resolution to exercise the powers of the Prince George's County Planning Board, the zoning hearing examiner for the county, or the district council for the county. A qualifying municipal corporation under the bill is defined to mean a municipal corporation in the regional district in the county that has a population of at least 15,000, according to the most recent U.S. Census. The governing body of the qualifying municipal corporation who exercises the powers by adopting a resolution is subject to the substantive and procedural requirements and standards established in the county zoning law. They're also required to submit a copy of the resolution to the district council within 30 days after its adoption. A party of record to an action of the governing body of a qualifying municipal corporation may seek judicial review of the final decision of the governing body in the circuit court for Prince George's County. And finally, the bill provides that the powers under the bill do not authorize the governing body to amend the county zoning law or adopt municipal zoning law.
Thank you, Shane. Delegate Holmes.
Thank you so much. And Madam Chair, I do appreciate the opportunity to speak as point of personal privilege as you announced, because I'm not part of the subcommittee. Also, I want to publicly thank Shane. He's worked very hard with me in getting all these amendments put together. He's done a very, very good job, Madam Chair. And I wanted everyone to know that. The amendments are based upon what was discussed last week at this meeting. The discussion last week was asked about how the municipality would handle this. So what the amendments have done is, number one, the amendments indicate that the municipality must have a vote of the governing body, and the governing body must have a positive majority vote of 66 2/3 of the legislative body in order to enact this process. The other thing that was asked last week was to put something in the bill to make sure that the municipality has the capability of handling this. So in the amendment also, Madam Chair, is a list of professionals that must be part of the board, the department. In the amendment is it must have a professional engineer, an architect, a landscape architect, or a certified planner. One of those has to be in the department that oversees this, so that there is a professional that understands these land use activities. Also, in terms of staffing, the amendments also indicate that there must be at least one person that is administrative staff to help with the professional. So all of that is in the amendments, Madam Chair, as reference, as response to last week's discussion. And with that, Madam Chair, I will yield back to you.
Thank you very much, Delegate Holmes. You mentioned one of the had to be a zoning. Could you repeat the part that you said there has to be someone who?
Oh, sure. And if you want, Madam Chair, Shane can read them all off to you as well, but they have to be a professional engineer or a land surveyor or an architect or a certified planner, so that someone in that department has the expertise to handle these permitting issues. That's why I put that in there.
Got it. I'm looking at the different docs here. Did someone have, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize, Vice Chair Harrison, please.
That's okay. You know, it always takes me a minute to figure out where the hand.
I know
is.
I couldn't, it was blending in. I couldn't see the, okay.
No worries, no worries. So, Delegate Holmes, are these individuals to be, are they contractors or are they employees?
Good question, Delegate. These are employees of the municipality. These are not contractors. These are employees of the municipality, including the staff person.
So then, question is, so if you have only one individual who is that meets these qualifications, what happens then if, for whatever reason, that individual departs and they're in the midst of a plan? What will happen at that point?
I would suggest, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, that the same thing would happen in this case as would happen in current cases with the Prince George's County zoning. They'd have to hire someone else.
Well, what I would, there are multiple planners usually and in the planning department as it is currently. So you have some level of overlap until an individual can be hired to fill that specific one. I'm concerned that if there is only one, there's no redundancy of knowledge, I guess you could say, and therefore something that they may have in the works could essentially be on hold. I don't know how easy it is or how many planners or people who fit that criteria, how fast they would be able to fill that position. And I'm concerned that they may start something and then there's a departure and then they get stuck. And then of course, time is money. So I wouldn't want the municipality to be, to lose a lot of money. And then, whomever they may be working with, whatever plan that or development that may be going on, that they end up losing money as well because you don't have that expertise to guide that process.
If I may, Madam Chair. I do appreciate 100% what you're saying. If that is a major concern, then I would ask then that language be changed to have at least two of those professionals, because the city of Bowie does have two. And I was trying to give others more flexibility. So if it's the will of the committee to suggest that municipalities must have two of those professionals, I'm totally amenable to that. And because the bill is in the hands of the subcommittee, then I will just let it go at that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Madam Chair, if I just to continue the dialogue. So I appreciate that. And I know, well, I believe that there may be some other municipalities who may not be in the same position that may, initially qualify as it is now. And then a scenario arises as I described. And I appreciate the flexibility because we do, we don't we don't do laws for one entity. And so we have to think about the mass and how and all who will be affected. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
I actually had a question. It's not anything technical or anything, but I realized if it was even posed in one of our meetings is, so this bill's not new, right? It comes back every now and then. In particular, since you represent Bowie, because this would obviously benefit, what, I guess I want to ask what the impetus is for it, because you've been doing, you've not had it for this long. Is there a reason other than Laurel has had it forever? I remember Delegate Lehman talking about that. Is there a particular, because I'm curious as to why. And I know it's not a fancy question, but I never asked it, so.
Certainly. That was directed to me, I assume.
Oh, yes, Delegate Holmes, I
Yeah,
apologize.
that's right. Yeah. The reason for the opportunity for municipalities is that several municipalities have approached me with this, not just Bowie, but several have approached me with this. The reason for it is that they want a little bit more flexibility to be able to move faster with the approval processes in Prince George's County, so that things don't get bogged down. And I am not at all suggesting that Prince George's County, as a county, is at fault for purposely delaying things. That is not what I'm trying to say. It's just that the municipalities would like the flexibility to move a little bit faster than what is currently happening. That's all.
Okay. Delegate Harris.
Appreciate it, Madam Chair. So quick question. So piggybacking on all of everything that everyone just is saying, I understand the concept of the bill. Here's my one thought process, and that is, being that this is something technically new for some municipalities. Have we ever thought about doing a working group to study how this will actually work, how this will actually be affect different things? Like, did we actually do a study to actually figure out what this actually will look like moving forward? Sorry, Delegate Holmes. Sorry, those questions for you.
Thank you. I didn't want to. First off, I have to be recognized by the chair.
Oh, yes, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you. And as a matter of fact, Delegate, that concept has been bantied about as well. If in fact the committee wants to take this bill and turn this bill into a study, I think that would be advantageous as well, because it would show, I think it would show how it would work. And if there were some problems within the scenario, it would show how to work it out. So if the committee decides to take this and turn it into a study, I would be agreeable to that as well. Not that I have a vote anyway, but I would be agreeable to that as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Delegate Harrison.
Thank you. I just thought about, as Delegate Holmes mentioned, being able to move faster. I know that, whenever any type of development is done, it's more than just to develop the actual planning, but they also have to coordinate with other state agencies such as WSSC, State Highway, and then of course they'll have to go through in the county, DER, DPI, all of those. So those are other layers. And I wonder, when you brought that up, it really gave me some concern, because first of all, those agencies don't move fast for the county. And I would hate to think that they may move even a little slower for the municipalities, but I wonder if they would, look at the municipality as being secondary to something that the county is doing. And, I won't say put it on the back burner, but, move it to the back as to be not as much of a priority, and therefore actually slowing things down even more. I don't know. I won't suggest that they would intentionally do that, But I'm wondering if that could very well be, you know, a level of reality, quite honestly, because, you know, everyone knows that we have a notoriously slow process and things often get held up for whatever reason, you know, and I'll just leave that there. And I think Delegate Holmes, I think you may be aware of that in your other career, how those things happen. And I would hate that, you know, a municipality such as Bowie, who has, you know, is prepared and I'm sure knows these processes, to end up being, you know, terribly frustrated because things are not moving as we would hope. So it's just something that I thought about as you were saying. I will stop there. I see that Delegate Holmes has would like to respond.
Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And that may be a good point to suggest again that perhaps we should have a study on it, just to figure out what the problems could in fact be. And that would outline where improvements need to be made. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You are welcome. Excuse me. Oh my God. Having said that, what would be, I guess I'd take a litmus test of the members here. I will say on the record, I mentioned Delegate Healy was not joining us. That was due to a standing committee obligation. But she did mention she wanted to be part of the discussion. And given that there are new amendments and the like, I'd like to get a test of the members here of the I am so sorry of the temperature with regards. I would like to have Delegate Healy's knowledge as well, since she has been on Bi-County much longer than any of us, given the new language that has been introduced.
Can we go to Delegate Roberts before we?
Oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Roberts. I didn't see these
That's
hands.
okay.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for Delegate Holmes, or maybe even Delegate Harrison. I guess I was wondering if there's any thought been to whether or not, I guess in this process, if this bill didn't end up being passed or more changes needed to be made to it, is there a way to maybe just, how else can the municipalities be involved? Is it possible to maybe have, I guess, personnel in park and planning or in the planning board, assigned to specific municipalities, or to deal with municipalities, or, you know, or so, I guess I'm just looking to see if this bill has been brought before, it hasn't been passed, it's still work that's being done on it. How else is there a way to meet in the middle? That's my question.
Either she acknowledged Delegate Harrison and Delegate Holmes. So whichever one of you.
I will yield to Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Madam Vice Chair. And thank you for the question. I would seriously hate to ask any of the existing departments, DPI, WSSC, Park and Planning, et cetera, to put additional work on their personnel, unless we had some suggestions from them that they would, in fact, be willing to assist. And I'm not trying to say that the process is already burdensome, but to add additional workload on them might kind of, be additionally troublesome. And I will close with that, Madam Chair.
The one thing that I would say, and I think this one might be a question for council, is because the state oversees the Regional District Act, is that something that we could put in the statute to say that the planning department would have an individual who would be specifically assigned to municipal development or municipal planning development projects? I'm not sure that we can do that. That may be something that we need to look into a little further. That, while it may not be that we certainly wouldn't be able to do that for the other for the agencies, but we may be able to do it for the under park and planning, but I'm not sure about that. And so that may be something that council needs to look into. And I see that council has come off of mute, so maybe you can add something to that.
I was just going to say that I can certainly look into it. My initial reaction, just hearing the idea, it would sort of depend, I would think, on the scope of the duties of the staff member to what those duties might look like. I don't initially have any sort of awareness of like an obstacle that would prevent that from being coded, but I would want to look into that just to be 100% sure about that.
With that, Madam Chair, what I would like to do is special order this until we can have find out about that particular, because that could very well be the medium, or the compromise. But I would like to, and in light of the additional amendments and the fact that Chair Healy is not here and has specifically requested to be a part of the discussion, I'm going to ask that we special order this.
Is there there's been a motion?
Second.
Any in opposition? Seeing none? Okay. This bill, and thank you, Shane, for looking into this and for that request, Madam Vice Chair. I just want the members to know that we don't just special order things just to do. This is not a small bill, even though it has come across here and there, and definitely want to give it its due diligence and appreciate Delegate Holmes for participating with us. You have your hand up.
All I wanted to say was thank you, Madam Chair, to you and the committee. That's all I want to say. And again, I want to send out a special thank you to Shane. Just wanted to say thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, and we're very thankful for Shane as well. So don't ever leave us, Shane. With that said, okay, I would encourage the members, and I will have a discussion with Delegate Healy as well as to what has transpired during this morning's meeting. And hopefully we can get to a resolution for next week, one way or the other. So I appreciate the members' patience and those who have joined us. Thank you very kindly. And we are adjourned.